Hey, what's up guys and welcome back to Anime King 2, and today I'm gonna be giving you part 9 of What If Naruto was trained by gods. Remember to get this to 100 likes as usual, share this to all of your friends in social media platform, and also go ahead and check out the new episode of Naruto Ancestor that I posted on this channel. And over on Anime King, I posted a new episode of What If Kaguya was Naruto's mother, so go ahead and check it out and enjoy. And I also post a new episode of What If Naruto had multiple people sealed inside of him, so go ahead and check those as well and enjoy guys. And remember, if you're new and this is the first time you hear my voice and you enjoy the videos on both channels, go ahead and click that red subscribe button and join Anime King and Anime King 2 and become part of the Anime King family. And thank you all for your help and your support, and remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. I'll be replying and talking back to all of you. So without further ado, let's get straight into this new episode. Start the intro.
I think the girls with their nails done now. Girls with their nails done. I think the girls with their
So, to do a bit of a recap, Naruto and his team faced off against a giant snake as they defeated it. The invasion was now over as Orochimaru returned to normal after the snake was extracted out of him. Naruto sent Danzo a box as Danzo opened it, as Danzo was sucked inside as he got tortured by Pinhead. Meanwhile, Naruto told them about Samael, one of the demons that are still on Earth, and he's said to be powerful just as the god Yami. As Naruto told them everything about what happened a long time ago and how Samael gets so powerful. And with that, the council meeting was over as Naruto headed to visit Ino, and Kabuto was there as he wanted to make Naruto pay for killing his master as he was serving that snake. As Ino defeated Kabuto, back at the Hidden Rain village, the Akatsuki was annihilated by Samael, who was now on Earth, as he killed Pain with his army of demons at his disposal, and he also had 4 general demons that he commanded. As Jiraiya came back to Konoha as he informed them about this, as Naruto told them the only way to defeat Samael was to bring back the 4 horsemen, as they went to the gods Yami, the Shinigami, and Kami, as Naruto pleaded with them and they accepted, as they brought back the 4 horsemen so they could take care of Samael. And they brought them back to Konoha as they told everyone everything that is going to happen soon, that another war is on their hand, with the 4 horsemen and Naruto and the others versus Samael. Naruto also told them that Kyuubi is no more its power as breaking up into Naruto, and he has seals. He can remove the seals one by one, giving him a tail worth of the Kyuubi's power. So yeah guys, that was basically the last part we left off. You guys can check out the place and check it out for yourself. So let's begin this new episode. We start this episode at the Hidden Rain village. Just recently it has fallen to the ancient demon Samael. Now everything was lifeless here, nothing but destroyed buildings. In the destruction, a lone figure walked. He had on a mask with his Akatsuki cloak. It was the so-called Madara. Curse that monster, he thought, forcing me to use the Izanami like that. He then walked over to a building as he went through handstand and slammed his hand on the ground as everything started to rumble, as it then parted, showing several bodies as he pulled some pieces of papers as he placed them on the bodies as he went through hand sign. Restoration art, he said. The flesh on the bodies started to heal. After a few minutes, a man who was shark-like in appearance, a man with orange hair with a lot of piercing, and another with silver hair, and a woman with dark blue hair, and another man with blonde hair, and another one with red spiky hair, as the man with the mask removed his mask, showing that one of his eyes were black, as he reached down and plucked out the grey hair man, as he removed his eye, which was a Rinnegan, as he placed it in his. As he did a simple healing jutsu as his hand glowed green. As he blinked a few times, He then picked up the body of the man and threw him in the air as he burned it with a fire jutsu. He then pulled out some rods as he placed it in each bodies on the ground as the bodies stood motionless. As he slammed his hand together, as their eyes snapped open, revealing that they had the same eyes as his. As the bodies all rose up and looked at him, as the man smirked, "Now all I need to do is seal that creature inside of me. After that, nothing, not even the Bijus, will be able to stop me, Madara Uchiha." As he chuckled, he then looked around and whispered to himself, "I got to stop doing that." Meanwhile in Konoha, War glared at Naruto as Naruto glared back at him, as the two were staring each other down, as the both of them clenched their fists, as the horseman and Naruto's family watched anxiously as the both of them faced off. The two then charged at each other as they swing their arm forward as they yell, "Rock, paper, scissors," as Naruto showed paper as War had shown rock. "Paper beat rock," Naruto said as War looked frustrated. "I do not understand this game," War said. "What is the point of this?" "I told you, it's a game of skill. You need to predict the move of your opponent and then counter it." Death raised the eyebrow. "Really? It seemed pointless to me." "I agree with you on that, brother," Fury said. At that, a loud bang was heard as the front door to the manor was busted open. "Hey Naruto," said a voice, coming from none other than Kiba Inuzaka. Old man here doesn't want to, as Kiba then stopped, as he saw Fury, as he put on a charming face. "Hello beautiful, what's a pretty babe like you doing in a place like this?" He then became of War, sword being pointed at his head, Strife, gun being pointed at his heart and his lung, as Death at his side at his crotch. "What were you saying about our sister?" Death asked. Nothing," Kiba stuttered. "Calm down boys, he was just paying me a compliment," said Fury. "By the way, I'm not on the market. Try someone else," she said. Naruto then looked at Kiba and said, "By the way, don't you have Hinata?" "Well," said Kiba, "just be patient. Kurenai should have really taught you patient," said Naruto. "Alright, let's go," said Kiba. A few minutes later, "Hey old man, you wanted to see us?" Naruto said, as he and his friends walked into the office. "Yes, I did Naruto. You see, I sent a message to the other country about Samael, in order to gain allies about our fight. The Kages have decided for the sake of their village that they will help us." Naruto smiled. "That's good, right?" "You would think so," said Sarutobi, "but things are tense right now with the villages, and with this upcoming madness. I need to tell you this, do not make any enemies with the other villages." "You wound me, old man. You really think I'll fight purposely with the other villages?" Sarutobi looked at Naruto sternly. "Fine, I won't pick any fights, but if someone pisses me off, I won't make any promises." Minato shrugged and said, "Good enough." Many hours later, Naruto and the others, the horseman included, waited outside of the room, as Naruto looked worried as there has been a lot of shouting, yelling. The Kages have arrived a few hours ago and negotiation for Samael has begun. Needless to say, the people were skeptical after a while, but that was until Minato revealed himself. Needless to say, Oniki tried to kill him on the spot, but his two bodyguards held him back. After that, Minato told them what the great demon could do and that he was a threat to everyone. Obviously, the idea about sealing him inside of a newborn came up, but the idea was instantly squashed. Samael's chakra was far more dense and destructive than a Biju. On top of that, he was much more stronger, which meaning that he could break almost any seal and kill the newborn. After a few more hours of shouting, the Kages finally came to the agreement. When Samael is sighted, the Kages would mobilize as much of their forces to help vanquish the demon. A few of them were skeptical of the plan, but they decided to go along with it as well. Better to have a stupid plan than no plan, right? And with that, the Kages left the room, as Naruto and the others stood outside waiting. "So?" Naruto asked, as he looked at Sarutobi. "The Kages have agreed to mobilize their forces at the next site of Samael. Do you really think that this will help?" he asked. Naruto nodded, as he said, "We need to be united against this freak show. Trust me, it's the best thing right now." War then heard something behind him as he turned around to see Kojiro and Tenten staring at his sword. "Is there something I can help you with?" War asked. "Oh, it's nothing, just admiring the sword that you have," Tenten said, as Kojiro nodded in agreement. "The man who forged our weapon was a great master of the forge. Sadly, we don't know what happened to him," said War. Meanwhile, a great distance away, Madara rose from the ground. It hadn't been hard to track Samael. Madara with his paths had found him, as they took on an army of demons from left to right before they reached the big man himself. But Samael was on a whole nother level, as Samael crushed all of them, even though they were gifted with the power of the Rinnegan. Madara had fought Samael and now he was in pain, as he glared up at Samael. "You have proved yourself entertaining, mortal. In this, I will offer you a choice. Join my army and aid me in bringing this world to its knees." "I must decline your offer," Madara said, as he rose up from the ground. "Then it is time to die," said Samael, as power then focused in Samael's hand as he fired a blast of darkness. Madara screamed in agony as his flesh was burned apart, as Samael chuckled at the ashes of the human. Suddenly, Madara appeared behind Samael. The only difference this time, his Sharingan had gone completely black and his Rinnegan eye looked weaker. It wasn't pulsating with power, as Madara yelled out, "Great Demon Sealing!" A seal appeared on Madara's chest and on Samael's back, as Samael slowly turned into dust and went into Madara's body. As Samael cried out as Madara sucked him all in, as he felt power coursing through his veins. He grinned evilly, but he then felt pain. As he fell to his knees, this was unlike any pain he has ever felt before. He screamed out in pain and agony as a seal on his body started to crack, as there was a bright light and Samael appeared as he was kneeling in front of Madara. As Samael looked at his claws, "I feel weaker." The ceiling had taken some of his power, as he then turned his focus on Madara. "You insolent human, you dare try to steal my power?" As Samael jumped on him, seeing that Madara was still in pain, Samael dropped on him, as Samael's feet was now in his chest, and that knocked all of the wind out of his lungs and crushed all of his ribs. As Samael brought down his hand and sank his claws into his neck, as Samael ripped his head from his shoulders and threw it away. As Samael placed a hand on his chest just to make sure, as he was incinerated and turned into ash. "Stupid human," said Samael. "He stole some of my power. No matter, even with some of my power gone, I will still be strong enough to kill the horseman," he said, as he then sit on his throne that was being carried by the demons. With that, Samael and his demons march on with their eyes set on the horseman and his angels. A week later, Tsunade was now the Hokage. Seeing that Sarutobi was getting too old, he retired and gave the position to her. As Samael and his army was marching towards Konoha, as two Jonin saw them, "We have to get back and inform them immediately," said the Jonins as they rushed back to the village. Tsunade sighed in relief back at the village, as she was happy that she was finished with her paperwork, as she was hallucinating that the paperwork was mocking her. She finished the last piece of paperwork as she leaned back in her chair and sighed. As she popped the cork of the bottle of sake, two Jonins burst into the room, surprising her as she crushed the bottle of sake in her hand. As she growled at the two Jonins, "This better be good," she said. "Ma'am, we spotted that great demon and his army marching towards Konoha, a few miles past the border." Tsunade's mood changed from angry to serious in a matter of seconds. "How far?" she said. "About 2 hours away, coming from the east." She quickly called the envoy. As they arrived, there is an army of enemy approaching the village from the east. Quickly get the word out to every able-bodied ninja and let them meet you in the main square in 30 minutes. And get all the civilians to the shelter. And tell Kakashi if he is 1 second late, I will castrate him with a rusty spoon and burn all of his itchy books in front of him. The ninjas nodded as they vanished in bursts of speed. Tsunade then summoned a slug. Yes, ma'am, the slug asked. I need you to send a few of your messengers out to Kumo, the stone, Kiri, Taki, and the sand. We will need everything that we can throw at this. Less than 30 minutes later, all the Jonin, Chunin clan heads and Anvu stood in the square. The horseman stood at the back, waiting for the reason why they were called. The army that is led by Samael is coming, Tsunade said out loud. The horseman heard this as they clenched their fists at the evil monster they had faced centuries ago. Tsunade continued, we will be facing powerful enemies today, ancient demons that the world hasn't seen in centuries. I don't have to tell you that most of us will not make it out of this alive. We have to fight to protect our village. We have faced madmen and creatures before, and we have come out on top. Are we about to let some walking sideshow freaks take us down? No, the Leaf Ninjas responded. To the last man, to the last squad, to the last kunai, we fight, said Tsunade. The crowd cheered as they hoisted their weapons, and then they left to face the upcoming war. War turned to Naruto and said, she's a very persuasive woman. Death nodded and said, I wonder if she's a descendant of Uriel. War glared at his brother for bringing up the woman that had caused them a lot of trouble in their past. Meanwhile, the villagers got the message from the slugs and were mobilizing their force. They even got out their own personal weapons. That is what they called them to aid in the upcoming battle. After gathering what forces they could, the messenger slugs called upon some larger slugs to transport them. Despite their reputation for being slow, they slithered at a very fast pace and made it to Konoha as the Kages stood with their Jinjulkis at the gate. Oniki had Han and Roshi, the 5 tails and the 4 tails. With the Raikage was Yujito and B, the 2 tails and 8 tails. With the Taki cage was Fu, the 7-tailed Jinjulki. With the Mizu cage was Yagura and Utakata, the 3 and the 6-tailed Jinjulki. And finally, there was a new Kazekage Gara, the 1-tailed Jinjulki. Naruto faced all of them and said, so, these are the other Jinjulkis. I thought that this would be more interesting, he said. Roshi grinned and said, oh really? I didn't think that I would have to deal with some yandame wannabe. As Roshi felt someone glaring at him, as he turned to see the actual 4 Hokage standing there, as him and Han looked shocked as they backed away. Okay, I suggest you guys get ready, because we're going to have a monstrous battle in about a half an hour. Killer Bee stepped up and said, yo little man, you got a plan? Because I ain't gonna wind up dead, especially but he was cut off by Yujito. Stop it with the rhyming thing already, she said. Naruto raised the eyebrow. He talks in rhyme, he said. As Yujito sighed, unfortunately, she said. As Naruto sighed as well, that must be annoying. It is, Yujito said. As Oniki spoke up, the kid has a point. Now get ready, I want to get this over and done before my back starts up, he said. As Han and Roshi rolled their eyes. How is he a cage exactly? Fu asked to Roshi. I guess he won out due to seniority or popular vote, Roshi whispered back. The rest of the villagers from Konoha and everywhere else got ready. Within 20 minutes their enemies stood before them. A massive army of demons vary in size, from ones to the grown height of a man, and some of them that can crush an ox in their hand. In the middle of it sat Samael, as he was on a throne that was made completely of bones. The shinobis got their weapons ready, as did the demons. As Death spoke, do you feel it, brother and sister? He said. Something has changed. Strife nodded. Yes, I can feel it. He's weaker. Some power-hungry human must have gotten lucky. Fury nodded. Yes, this is the best chance we could get. And if not, said War, we will go down in a blaze. Samael rose up from his throne. Humans, angels, horsemen, I suggest that you surrender now. Your deaths will be painless. But if you fight me, I will give you a slow and agonizing death. Tsunade cracked her knuckles. Do you really think that we will give up like that, Hornhead? She said, as he glared at her. As he then chuckled, you have a fire in you, woman. Perhaps I will spare you. I will be needing a woman when I rule this earth. The rest of you, kill all of them. And bring me that woman alive, he said. The demons charge as the ninjas did the same, as all of them cleaned their weapons into the center, as blood was splattered everywhere. Bodies, demons, and humans were on the ground already. The horseman went straight for Samael, making him rise above his throne and went to another part of the battlefield. "To think this is how we would meet again, horseman," said Samael. "I had a feeling that we would be battling again, but this time, Samael, we will kill you," said War. Samael extended his claws. "Well, we will just have to see about that when I rip you all to shreds." But guys, let me end this episode right here. If you want to see the next part of this, you already know what to do. Like, subscribe, comment down below, and turn on that bell notification to stay posted. Remember to share to all of your friends in social media platform. And also, go ahead and check out the new episode of What If Naruto had multiple people sealed inside of him that I posted over on Anime King. And I also post a new episode on this channel of Naruto Ancestor. And I also post a new episode of What If Kaguya was Naruto's mother. So go ahead and check out that and enjoy, guys. And remember, if you're new, to go ahead and click that red subscribe button and join Anime King and Anime King 2 and become a part of the Anime King family. And thank you all for your help and support. And remember to comment down below and tell me if you're new. But for now, guys, I'm out of here. Peace.